during our lives, we constantly meet new people. At school, at university, at work. They all have different characters, values, upbringing. But in order to cooperate and be successful with other people, we need to be able to get along with them. Sometimes it just clicks and you easily get along with another person. Sometimes it just doesn't work. However, getting along with people, it's not luck. It's a skill. Skill that you need to have in your toolbox if you want to be a successful communicator. So in this video, we'll talk about 3 simple tools that you can use in order to get along with anyone you want. No matter what it is. At school, at university, at work, or maybe it's just a networking event. By the way, if you're new here, then welcome. My name is Nikita, and here I talk about practical communication tips for everyday life. Now, without further ado, let's roll. Many people think that you start getting along with another person as soon as you start talking to him. Wrong. You have to start getting along with the person even before you open your mouth. You start doing it as soon as this person is in your line of sight. Because the first thing that you need to do, even before you start talking to the person, you need to analyze the person and analyze his emotional state. Because we humans are both rational and emotional creatures. And of course, it sounds like a good thing, to be always positive and just spread positive energy. But imagine that you're sad and something happened, right? And you're just sitting there, I don't know, at work and, thinking about it. And there's this fucking clown, who's always positive, always spreading positive vibes, always like, ha ha, hey, a good day. You're looking at him like you hate him already. This person hasn't even said the word yet, but you already don't like this person. It's like, get out. So the first thing that you need to do, you need to look at the person and analyze him. If the person is happy and in a good mood, okay, show that you're also in a good mood. If the person is not in a good mood, okay, well, you can be in a neutral state, right? Maybe ask, hey, what happened, right? You're not just, that one person is mourning and then you're like, hey, how are you doing? No, you're matching people not only on the rational level, but also on the emotional level as well. I'm not saying that you have to show the same emotions, right? Is that if the person is very sad and crying, you don't have to cry, but you have to look at it and you have to acknowledge it and you have to adjust your emotional state to this person because it shows that you care. It builds trust and the person will like you more instantly. And in order not to overcomplicate things, here there are 5 basic states that the people can be in that you can calibrate. The first one, very positive, okay? Very positive mood is that the person is very, very excited, something happened and he's just, spreading positive vibes. The second one is just positive. It's like passive positivity. It's just, good mood, joy. The next one is passive negative state. It's like, he's a little bit sad. Something happened, maybe troubles at work or something. And there's active negative state. He's like in a very bad mood. It can be intensive sadness, maybe he's crying or something, or it can be anger. And the 5th state is that if the person is interested and not interested. Very important to calibrate the state when you're talking to the person, because if you're talking to the person about something and the person is completely not interested, it looks like you might need to change your strategy. You don't want to keep talking about something that the person has not interested in. You need to analyze what state the person is currently in and adjust yourself to that state. Because if the person is sad, or maybe he's a little bit angry, you don't want to act like nothing has happened. Because if you do act like that, connection probably won't happen. And imagine that he's irritated at something, it's like, oh shit, right? And you're like, hey, what happened? He's like, I'm in this queue, like a kid. And you're like, yeah, man, that's very better. He's like, yeah, right? Boom, you used to get along, simply because you understand his energy and you just, share his vibe as well. Well, all right, you looked at another person, analyzed his emotional state, and adjusted yourself to it. Then you said hi, and you started talking. What to do next? It's time to play the tactic number 2. What you need to do right now is to find something that you have in common with the person. And honestly, it works like magic. And I can prove it to you. Here's an excellent example of Elon Musk talking about video games in one of his interviews.
Overwatch is amazing.
Overwatch is amazing, yeah. Generally, Blizzard does great stuff.
Best game I played recently, and it's not a super new game, is The Last of Us.
Oh, is it really?
It's from a couple of years ago.
Sure.
And if you read the comments, you can easily find something like, when you thought Elon Musk couldn't get any cooler. Elon is a gamer, loves cars, anime, and weed. He's just one of us. See, I actually want to pinpoint that. He's just one of us. And that's very, very powerful. That's actually what this tactic is all about. Because when we meet the person for the first time, our brain starts asking lots of questions about the person. Is this person competent or not? Is this person a threat or not? Is this person our guy or not our guy? And our goal here is to show that we're friendly and we are in the same group. We are our guy. And the easiest way to do that is to find something in common with the person. Because if you find something in common, something similar between you and another person, this person instantly will think about it. Oh, wow, he's just like me. He's my guy. And he will instantly trust you more. So what can you have in common with another person? Well, the first thing that you can have in common is if you're from the same city or from the same country. Obviously, it will not work all the time, because if you just go on the street and if you met the person and you're in New York right now and you're like, hey, you know what we have in common? I'm from New York. He'll be like, what a fucking weirdo you are. But imagine that you are from another country. Well, right now I'm from Ukraine, right? So during the war, we have lots of immigrants who just, fled to other countries for refugee, right? So obviously they can get along with each other way easier because they have something in common. You're going on the street in the country where you do not know anyone, and then you see the person, and this person is from the same country as you are. And you're like, oh, Fred, hello, right? Instant trust. The same thing happens is that if you have the same major, or you've been studying in the same university maybe, same job or same industry. Imagine that there's a group of friends and there's like new person there and the person says, I actually study physics. And there's a person in the company who's like, whoa, really? I study physics too. And then they just start talking about some boring stuff like, third law of thermodynamics. No one understands what they're talking about, but it looks like they're getting along quite well. You can have the same hobbies, the same interests, maybe the same values and beliefs. It can be a big thing, it can be a small thing. Doesn't matter. What matters is that if you find something in common with another person, the person will instantly think, oh, he's just like me. And he will instantly like you and trust you way more. And once you start talking to the person, once you start getting along, find something similar that you have with each other. Now it's time to play tactic number 3. Now it is time to talk about the most interesting topic. And what's the most interesting topic for the majority of people? Themselves. People love talking about themselves. But here's the thing. You're not talking about yourself. You're talking about another person. When you're talking to the person, your goal is to find what this person is passionate about and start asking more about this topic. Show that you're truly interested in this topic and his life. But now you can ask me, well, it sounds cool and all, but how do I find out if the person is actually passionate about the topic? Remember when I was talking about 5 emotional states, I mentioned this, the person is interested or not interested. Once you start asking questions, you will hit one of the questions and the person will be very, very excited to talk about it. You will see it. And when you see it, when you see the spark, if the person is positive, and wants to share, it looks like you hit the right nerve and you just need to dig deeper. But why does this actually work? Well, you see, all of the people have different interests and different passions. And we love talking about our passions, right? Well, think about yourself, right? You have some passions. You're interested and you can talk about it. You can talk about it for hours. Maybe this is your favorite group, maybe this is your favorite video game, or maybe you love going to the gym, whatever. You're in this topic, you're interested in this topic, you might be even a little bit of an expert, maybe you have some results and you like to brag about it, to show a little bit of your results and things like that. Well, the problem is that the majority of people don't care, right? You want to share it with them, but they just don't give a fuck. You know why? Because they love themselves and they love to talk about themselves. And then you meet the person who's genuinely interested in what you're doing, genuinely interested in your passions, and asks questions and, compliments you and, really cares what you have to say. Well, you will be very, very passionate to share information with the person, right? You will be very, very happy to share what excites you and discuss it. And if you're talking to the person about something that he's passionate about, after some time, he will forget that you were discussing this thing, right? But what he will remember is that how he felt around you. And that's actually what we're trying to achieve. I also have another person, the girl, and she studies in a film university. So she's acting and also she wants to become a film director. So she has a very, very passionate, creative job. I also have a little bit of experience, because I make videos. So we got along here, we found something in common. And I was asking her like, hey, so what you're doing, why you're doing this, do you want to become a director? I was really asking deep questions and was showing that I care. And she loved to talk about it. And she was sharing more and more and more. And after that, she started texting me, discussing, keeping me updated on her life. After some time, I just got tired of it, to be really honest. There's like a person constantly wants to talk to you about what's interesting to them. Well, that's the problem if you suddenly get along with another person, right? What to do in this case? That's the topic for another video. And if you pay attention to the emotional state of the person, find something that you have in common with the person, and find the topic that he's passionate about, you will get along with this person right after first conversation. And this is it for today. I hope this video was useful for you. If so, then hit the like and subscribe to my channel so you'll not miss my future updates about other communication tips that you can use. This is it. My name is Zikin, and I'll see you next time.